There you
Welcome
go.
to a Songwriter Tryst. I'm Rae Leigh, and today we have the wonderful Michi, all the way from Europe. You're in Spain, is that right?
Yes, I'm based in Madrid, Spain.
Amazing. It's on my bucket list. Coming to you from Australia here, we're going to talk to you, and I want to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about you and your music project and what are you doing?
Sure. My name is Michelle Raymond, but I go by the artist name of Michi,
Mhm.
and I'm from the United States, but I moved to Spain about 10 years ago.
Wow.
Right now, I'm working on my second full-length album, and that is a result of a Kickstarter that I launched a couple months ago. So I was very lucky. I had over 200 people contribute, raised more than $20,000. And so the past couple months, I've been in the studio, I've been songwriting, I've been doing some concerts to promote the album. So it's been a very busy couple months, but really exciting as well.
Congratulations. Do you know it's actually the Kickstarter how we found you?
Oh,
That,
yeah,
that
I
was how we
didn't know.
learnt about you.
Okay.
Another story, but that is very exciting. But I also want to go back to how did you end up in Spain from the US?
Oof, that's a story. You want the short version? I came
Whatever
for
version
love.
you want. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I came for love. It didn't work out. We broke up on the first day I
Oh,
arrived, and that's after quitting my job, selling my car, moving my entire life overseas. But the good news is that I say it was the best mistake I ever made
okay.
because I've been happy here in Spain the last 10 years. Obviously, a lot of opportunities I never would have been exposed to. I've
Yeah.
got an amazing band,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I'm happy here. It was a good story in the end.
In the end. But that, yeah, I don't know. The only thing I'm thinking is they could have given you a bit more of a heads up. But
Yes,
yeah, like one of those things. But maybe it was meant to be.
it was meant to be.
So, how did you get into music? Let's go back to like when did music start for you? What was your first inkling of this is, I think, who I am?
Oh, this is such a cute story. So
Okay.
when I was younger, I came home crying, and my grandmother would watch me after work because after school, my parents were working. And so she was my caregiver along with my sisters until they got off work and could come pick us up. And she said, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "Okay, I went to school and they're asking me what's your favorite color, blue, what's your favorite number?" And I said 13 because it's my birth date. I'm born on
Okay.
August 13th.
Yeah.
And they told me that I'm a witch and I'm evil because it's an evil number. It's
What?
just, oh, no. Yeah, I know. So she's, no,
It's
no,
so
no.
horrible.
They're horrible, but that's 13 has an evil connotation. And they were saying, "Oh, you must be evil." And I was so upset about this because I hadn't heard it before. I
Yeah.
was just an innocent kid.
Yeah.
And so she said, "No, it's the most lucky number in the world, but it's a secret. You can't tell anyone." And I
Oh,
was like, "I don't believe you." And she
yeah.
goes, "When's my birthday?" And I said, "I don't know." She said, "January 13." And I was like, "Oh." And she goes, "And when's your auntie's birthday?" And then, the
Oh,
number 13
wow.
just kept reappearing. And she said, "And what's your favorite holiday?" Which she already knew. And I said, "Halloween." And she goes, "What's 31 backwards?" And I was like, "Oh." So she convinced me. And I was so excited. And she goes, "Let's do this." Because the school year started in September. She goes,
Mhm.
"On October 13, we're going to call it your favorite day and we're going to celebrate." And she told all my family members about what happened, that I was getting bullied at school for something really trivial, but everyone showed up, all the aunts and uncles and cousins, and everyone
Oh.
played along, and it was so cute. And so when I came home that day from school, she had a cake, she had cards, everyone gave me gifts, and my uncle
Oh.
gave me a baby guitar because he didn't know what to
Oh.
get me. And that's where the music journey started. So it's a long story to get there, but they said, "Why did you get her a guitar?" And he was like, "I don't know. She wanted a guitar, so I got her a guitar." And everyone
Yeah.
kind of wrote it off as a fluke, but I
Yeah.
loved this thing. And I would just run around the house and jump off the staircase and pretend I was MTV and slide in
Yeah,
on my knees. And they're like, "All
yeah.
right, maybe she's
Calm
really-
down, rock
maybe we should
star.
give this a shot." Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they got me a real guitar, not just the little toy one, and then signed me up for guitar lessons. And that's how it all began.
Oh, that's amazing. And you're not the first person to tell me that it's instigated from bullying or misunderstood emotional experiences. So, yeah, but actually, what a fluke. I wonder if there was some other reason behind the guitar. But yeah, I'm so glad that you started doing that. And have you
Yeah,
just,
it
is that
could have
your main
been.
instrument? Could
Yeah, I
be.
play guitar and I sing as well, but guitar is definitely, I think, my stronger suit between the two.
So, what came first, songwriting or the guitar? Do you think they came together for you or is
They,
one
they
more
came
than the other?
together.
Okay.
Yeah, they came together and my family told me I would just strum because I didn't know how to play any chords or anything and just be like singing along, but not really saying much. And
Yeah.
I was just emulating what I was seeing in music videos and I really took on the persona. So jumping off the couch and just
Yeah,
it didn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah.
But they kind of came together and they said I was just making stupid, silly songs like a kid would sing about. And
Yeah,
then it grew from there.
that's amazing. So, okay, this is the one of the turning points for people as kids doing music. It's encouraged. It's really good to learn an instrument. Then there's the, okay, now I'm going to be a musician as a career. Were your parents supportive of that, or did you do a different career at the same time as continuing to do music? What was that transition like for you into adulthood?
Yes and no. That's a great question. So,
Mm.
my mom was really not a fan of me making this a career choice. And she told me, look, you need to go to college, you need to get a degree in business that's going to sustain you, and you can always do the music on the side. And my heart was like, I just want to go to Berklee College of Music. I just want to be a musician. And I was the first person in my family to go to college. So for her, it was very important that
Okay.
I pursue an education. The thing is that the music just never went away. I kept coming back to it. And even though I had a successful career, my first job out of college, I graduated when I was 20, was in finance. I worked at Morgan Stanley for 8 years. But at the
Wow.
same time, I was gigging and opening for major artists like Miley Cyrus and Carly Rae Jepsen.
What?
And
Like,
yeah, and
wow.
I was just kind of
This
having
is
this
finance chick, but
duality.
she's really good on music. Like,
Yeah, I just had this duality going on. It was like what my
yeah,
passion was and then what I was doing.
yeah.
And so finally, in the end, when I came to Spain, when I was chasing love, I needed a visa in order to come over here. And
Mm.
the easiest way for me to do that was just to sign up for school. And
Oh,
so I signed up for a master's program, an MBA. And because I had the pedigree and I had the financial experience, I got into a top university here, which was
mhm.
great. But my application was about my music and not about the finance.
Oh, that's so
And they
funny.
told me, in the end, we chose you because you're so different than the normal application we receive. You talked about building this music career, about being your own artist manager, about the publishing and X, Y, and Z that we just thought, okay, we need to admit this person.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
after graduating from the MBA, I said, you know what? I've never given myself the real shot at music full time. So I'm going to try it out now. And that's what I did. For 2 years, I was a professional musician, didn't have any side gigs, first time ever.
Yeah.
I was broke, beyond broke, had to move home, back in with the parents. It was like, oh, my mom,
Exhaust.
I told you,
Oh, thanks.
that kind of
That's
thing.
the best thing.
But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I did it. And then I went back to work. I made some money again. Then I still had this itch. The music just kept calling me. And then I was super lucky. I got accepted to Berklee College of Music. And I was like, it's my dream school. I finally got to go back and I did a second master's. And that time it was in music business. So both of my worlds finally got to collide.
Crazy.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and so it's been a back and forth my whole life.
And have you used your music business skills in your own career, or have you gone into music management or something like that as well, or is it just yourself?
Directly after graduating from Berkeley, I opened a record label with my
Oh,
ex-partner,
okay.
and we decided to make Levici Records. And that was more of an artist management type of label. So artists that already had prepared productions that were ready to be released, and we helped them with their marketing, their brand imaging, everything that goes into that, playlist pitching, trying to get sync placements.
Yeah.
And so that came from my knowledge of what I learned at Berkeley, because
Yeah.
prior to that, I had no idea. But
Right.
now it's helping me when I want to launch my own project. So I had a couple successful placements with the previous artists I work with. And now I'm using that knowledge and that experience to help me with my upcoming releases.
That's amazing. And well done for just putting yourself out there in so many different ways, but just giving it a shot, but staying true to who you are, obviously, is so inherently your music. Tell me about your songwriting. Where does that come from? Is the lyrics easier? Is the music easier? Are you saying something specific?
Yes. So all of my songwriting comes from personal, deeply personal experiences. But it didn't start out that way. It started out about me writing about fake boyfriends I didn't have when I
Fake.
was 12 and 13.
Yeah.
Fake breakups, and you broke my heart.
Yeah.
I never had a boyfriend.
That's
Like,
what Taylor Swift does. I know a lot
yeah,
of
but
people.
she also writes about her exes, but it's funny you say that because I was writing about fake experiences and they were
Mm.
funny and I don't know. Finally, when I was about 19, I wrote a song that was true to me. And it's because I decided to come out of the closet.
Mhm.
And so for me to write about that was so deeply terrifying because it was hard to even talk about. And then the fact about singing something so deeply personal on stage in front of an audience was
Mm.
like, okay, it's one thing to tell your friend or your mom or, hey,
Yeah.
I'm in the LGBT community. It's another thing to sing it in front of 500 people.
Yeah.
Basically, what happened is I wrote this deeply terrifying song called Change. And I was so scared that it took me weeks before I even performed it in front of my roommate. And when I did, she had obviously heard me practicing a million times from the house. And she goes, "This is the best song you've ever written." And
Yeah.
I said,
Wow.
"What?" She goes, "You got to sing this live." And I was like, "I can't do it. I can't do it." And it
Yeah.
really took every gut I had in order to perform it. And the reaction in the audience just told me that, okay, this was the right choice. This is what I need to be doing. I need to be writing about real experiences. There's
Yes.
just so much more emotion that's tied to it. People can relate to it, even though it's my experience. You can write in a way that resonates with people when they hear it because we all go through very similar experiences, even though they're unique to us. And funny enough, that song is what really launched my career, my first authentic song, because I
Yeah.
submitted it to a songwriting contest. I
Okay.
got ninth place. The grand prize was to open for Hanson. And so I didn't get
Wow.
it.
That's
And
a
I
little
was like,
podcast.
oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. I thought, okay, this is my big break. And I didn't win. Oh, and I was
Yeah.
devastated, but I was so happy I made it in the top 10. And this was out of 10,000 songs.
Yeah.
It was a big contest. But they put the top 10 songs on the front page of the website. And a movie director found my song and said, "Hey, I want to place this in my soundtrack as the
Wow.
title track for my upcoming feature film. Would you be interested?" And that's what started everything.
Wow. And so have you worked much in sync, or was that just like a fluke one-off, or do you love hearing your music in film?
I've had two placements, so it's not a fluke, and I want to do more. I'm just struggling like every other artist to kind of break through the noise or find the right music supervisor to take a listen.
Yeah.
But I've had one placement in a US film and another in a Spanish film. And that one was
Amazing.
actually by a very well-known actress called Itziar Castro. She broke out and decided to direct her own film, a
Amazing.
short called La Corta or La Cita, which means the short dates or fast dating. It's a loose
Okay.
translation. And then a sad thing happened is about a few months after she released it, we did the red carpet premiere, she passed away unexpectedly.
Oh,
But
wow.
somehow that tragedy helped amplify the movie because it was her last released work.
Yeah.
And she was a really well-known, respected actress here in Spain, amazing person, just a beautiful soul. And so
Yeah.
she made that project deeply personal for her because she's also a member of the LGBT community.
Okay.
And all the women she featured in the film were LGBT. And all the songwriters and artists that she featured were LGBT.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's just something very powerful that came with
Community.
that. Exactly.
Yeah. That's so awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so you got into Berkeley and you then did some management work, and now you've done your album, you're doing another album. Tell me about your journey since you've been releasing and you've had some success. I'm confused a little bit about where we are. Is the success back in the US, or was this prior to moving to Spain?
That was prior to moving to Spain. And that's why it
Okay.
was such a big deal that I left because I kind of left my whole band, my whole success in the music world behind.
Yeah.
For a while, I was bridging between the two. So,
Okay.
living in the US while working at Morgan Stanley is when I was having those big opportunities opening for Miley Cyrus and other artists that were coming through to perform at the Capitol Pride.
Yeah.
And so that's Washington, D.C.'s big Pride festival, and they would feature local artists. So the first year I
Amazing.
started, I was 20 and I had the worst slot ever. It was 11 a.m. No gay is awake in the country at 11 a.m. are going to Pride. So I was performing in front of 5 people.
Yeah. It
But then
happens.
it happens. But two unique things worked in my favor. One, that I was a female artist, and two, that I was openly out. And at that time, it was like 2008, I would say.
Okay. Yeah.
There weren't many of us.
Right.
And so being brave enough to be out helped me in
Mhm.
my music career and it helped give me opportunities. So then the next year they put me at the 12 o'clock slot and the next year the 1 p.m. And it just kept moving
Okay.
up. And after 9 years on the main stage, I performed two artists before Miley. So it was me, someone else, Miley Cyrus.
That's
And
amazing.
that was like, boom.
Like, I'm
But
close. Maybe.
yeah. And actually, that year was 2016, and I was already in Spain. So what I was doing is I was flying back for the big gigs. So that's where this
Right.
transition started happening. And then I started making a name for myself here in Spain. It took a while because when I came here, no one knew who I was. I had an
Yeah.
audience back home, but that was a 10-year work in progress.
Yeah.
Over here, I started fresh. People don't listen to the same type of music. So,
Culture
yeah,
shock.
I had to kind of rebuild completely from scratch over here. And then I've had successes while living in Spain. But yeah, that really big opportunity I was talking about was from before.
Okay. That's awesome. So now you've got all this experience and all this stuff under your belt. What is this album is called Short Story, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Short Story, tell us about this project. What sparked it? You've raised over 20K through Kickstarter. How did you is this the first time you'd used Kickstarter or
Yeah, first time. I've
okay.
never done a crowdfunding for a personal project. I've done it for charities and nonprofits that I volunteer for. And part of my job, the one I left in December, was raising money for organizations and for LGBT causes. So fundraising is something I'm very comfortable with, but not for myself.
Yeah,
And
it's different.
oh, it's so different. And it's so much harder. I
Yeah.
can fight for any cause and raise money like boom. But when it
Mhm.
came to putting myself out there with my most vulnerable project yet, it was
Yeah.
terrifying and difficult and much harder than I thought.
Yeah.
So for anyone thinking about doing a Kickstarter, I put in about 3 months of prep time before launching. And I recommend that because if you just start it, there's no stopping it. And if you don't
Mm.
meet your goal, you don't receive any of the funding. It's all or nothing. And so, yeah, really prepare yourself, plan your budgets, account for every fee that is going to come out of using a platform like Kickstarter, the taxes, everything else that's
Yeah.
not so obvious, but you need to prepare for.
Yeah.
And so, to answer your question about short story, it's a compilation of short stories.
Okay.
And those short stories are songs that I've written about true experiences. My sister, she joked to me one day and said, if you write one more breakup song, you're going to be Gaylor Swift.
Okay.
And
Oh,
so,
cool.
yeah, and so it's like a Gaylor Swift album of real experiences over the years about sometimes it's as short as a one night stand, and sometimes it's a short story, meaning a 3-year relationship that didn't amount to something further. So it has a really funny songs that you'll laugh along with.
Yeah.
There's some really deeply personal, heartfelt ones where you'll cry and want to drink a glass of whiskey. It's
Yeah.
gonna go through an emotional roller coaster, but that's life.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. And it's wonderful that you're able to put it there in this body work. For how long have you been working on this album? Were they
About
all the songs written before you started funding for the release? No?
No, the majority were written before. I've been working on this for about 10 years. So my first album release was over 10 years ago, and that
Mm.
was after I released Change. I decided to make an album. And so that's the song Change did well, but the album didn't. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to be much more intentional about my songwriting. It's like I put a bunch of songs to accompany the track, and this time I
Mm.
wanted all the tracks to be able to represent their own.
Yeah.
And so I've spent many years, one, living these experiences, but then two, writing about them.
Mm.
And then some recent experiences had me writing new songs. And I've debuted a few of them through live concerts here just to
Yeah.
kind of get like a case study, like how does the audience react?
Test it out.
And
Yeah.
exactly, test it before I put it.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome because the last concert I had was about a month and a half ago. I debuted two of the songs off the album. I told the audience, you're hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see what you think.
Yeah.
And people were able to sing along and sing it back to
Oh,
me in real
that's the
time. And that
best.
was like, it's so
Yeah.
validating. Okay, I'm on the right track. I'm doing the right thing. My songwriting is getting better. And people were singing the song back to me like a few days after. And I was like, okay, this
I
is
love
going to
that.
be awesome.
You
Yeah.
know it's going to be good. I find it funny that you said it because I don't meet a lot of people that do the live testing. They'll just be like, I've written a great song in my bedroom and now I'm going to go straight into the studio. And I've always been a big believer of, even if it's just like an open mic, like I don't want anyone to know who I am. I want them to listen to the song. It's like, even if there's very little feedback, I feel like as an artist almost instantly when you're singing, especially if it's a really personal song, in a live space, you'll instantly know, oh, yes, this is really good, or hang on, maybe this is not for public consumption. I don't know. Have you ever had a moment where you're like, you're singing a song for the first time live and you're like, oh, this is actually maybe just for me. It's not for the world. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a person maybe 15 years ago tell me one of the best advice or feedbacks I ever got. It wasn't really advice, but I took it seriously.
Okay.
So it was during this time when I was playing really big venues around Washington, D.C., and I played for this major event. And afterwards, I asked her, hey, what did you think of the show? And I think a lot of artists are used to hearing like, oh, wow, this is amazing, great show. And you hear good feedback all the time. But it's very rare that you hear negative feedback. And that's the feedback I care about the most because I
Yes.
feel like it's true.
It's honest.
And maybe the other one is true as well. But it can
sometimes
be
it's
like
honest, sometimes it's jealousy.
or sometimes people, like when they give positive feedback, they don't really like the song, but you're your friend and they don't want to upset you. And so
Yeah.
when I hear someone give me negative feedback, I pay extra close attention to that. And it's just like you're up there playing songs for yourself. You weren't like paying attention to the audience. You were gauging the reaction. Nobody's dancing to your music. And I was like, ooh. And I realized up until that point, yeah, I was not paying attention. And then when I started to test out new songs, I started to make a conscious choice. Like, I need to look at the audience reaction. Are they moving? Are they just still? Are they talking to each other and not paying attention? Are they
Yeah.
singing along? And that really helped me shape my songwriting because up until, of course, writing is a deeply personal thing for anyone, whether you're a songwriter or an artist. But if you are trying to be an artist that is commercially viable, you also have to play for the people and understand who are your buyers. What do they want to consume? Do they like it? Do they not? You can write the best song in the world, but if people don't like it, it's not going to live outside of your SoundCloud. So that for me allowed me to test songs. And there have been songs that I performed and people are just not interested. So I tweak it or I make changes or I say, this one's for me.
Or it's just, it was a practice run and then you had another one. But I think it's really good to see it's about that connection. And yes, we write music for ourselves first and foremost, but there's like this connection that we do want to see. And it's validating as an artist or a songwriter to see other people get it or even at least connect to it or enjoy it or feel something, which I don't know about you, but if writing something really personal and then someone afterwards is like, oh, like they start telling you their story or they'll start telling you how much they connected to the song. It's almost like that's the ultimate feeling of being seen, which I think as songwriters, we can feel really unseen and really weird sometimes. I don't know. I connect with other songwriters, but when I'm in like day-to-day life, I feel like very much an outcast because I feel like I think differently and I connect with people through music rather than general conversation like this all the time. I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to know the importance of not just your marketing and your advertising and your audience and your business, which is obviously something you know a lot of, and a lot of artists can really struggle in that area, but to also be aware that you're an entertainer and you're there to connect and make people feel something or forget stuff or just have a good time. Yeah, there's so many different things we're meant to do as an entertainer or artist or whatever, and songwriters. What would be your number one advice that you would give to someone who's starting out or learning or trying to do the same thing as you? What do you think was one of those big aha moments of, I wish I'd known this earlier? Or you've already shared so much, but what's one that you think you maybe haven't talked on?
That's a great question. There's a couple different avenues I would go with this because on the entertainment side, I'd give a different advice than I would as a songwriter. On the songwriting aspect, I'm going to start there first because this is Songwriting Tryst.
Yeah, Songwriter Trysts.
But it's just if you have a hook or something that comes to mind and you think you'll remember it later, you won't. So immediately put it down.
Yes. How good are
I
iPhones,
promise
right? Just record it straight away.
I have so many voice notes that are like, whatever I was thinking in that moment.
Yeah.
100%. 4 hours later, you forgot.
Yeah.
And it was the best hook you ever wrote in your life.
Yeah.
So it sounds silly, but walk down the street, record whatever just came to your head because you obviously it's stuck with you for a reason. So you want to run with it, but life happens and distractions happen and just don't lose it. So that's something I learned the hard way.
Yes,
and now I
I think we all
record
have.
every little motif, whatever I hear in my head that I think is worth revisiting. And sometimes you're not in the mood to songwrite, but you still have a great idea. So
and you need the
get
ideas.
it down.
Yeah, we'll come back to it later. I actually have so many voice notes in my phone that have the indicator on because I've had to pull over to do the voice note so I don't forget it. But you can hear the from
Uh-huh.
my from my car's indicator because I've
Like the
pulled over.
hazard lights. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've just pulled over for a sec. I'm just going to quickly do a voice note. And anyway, and then I listen to it later. I'm like,
That's
oh,
your
that's the
metronome.
indicator. That's my metronome.
No,
Yeah.
that's your click.
Maybe I should start getting a faster clicker on my car and my songs will start getting faster or something.
Exactly. Yeah, just do the BPM on your indicator.
Yeah. Don't even know what that would be, actually. I don't have to check that. Okay, talking about inspirations, we've mentioned Taylor Swift, and you've obviously worked and been around some really big hitters in the industry. Are there some inspirations that you would love to collaborate with or work with, or even dead or alive, say someone who it might not be possible, but in a dream world, you would get to go to heaven and kick ass with this person?
My number one person would be Melissa Etheridge.
Okay.
Yeah, she inspired me so much in my songwriting and my performance, even in the way that my voice sounds when I sing. I didn't have formal singing lessons when I was a kid, but my mom loved Melissa Etheridge and would play her CD or her tape, or she was on the radio constantly because she was just cranking out hit after hit. Come to my window, bring me some water. All of these songs were just like on repeat when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And I would sing along with her in the car. But because I didn't know how to sing, I just tried to voice match her.
Okay. So do you
Like
think
almost
you've actually, has anyone said you sound like her, or do you?
yeah,
That's so
yeah.
funny.
In
I'm
some
going to go listen to
songs,
them back to back now and see if I can pick it.
yeah, listen to, if you get a chance, Roses. That was my
I'll listen
last
to that
release
one.
I did. And even though it was about 5, 6 years ago, our voices have this kind of deeper female raspiness.
Mm.
And it's because I was copycatting her as a child. And my mom would be like, sing louder. And then
Yeah, yeah.
I could hit every note perfect to come to my window. And that's my go-to song on karaoke.
That's
But
so
then
good.
later, when I was coming into myself and understanding who I was in terms of love and sexuality, she for me was an icon because there weren't many out people at that time. And
Hmm.
not only was she out, but she was an out rock star writing about her female relationships. And so for
Yeah.
me, I was like, that's what I want to be. And I've gone to many concerts of hers. I love her songwriting. I've met her a few times. On my birthday, my sister bought me a cameo from Melissa Etheridge where she's
No.
like talking about my song Roses and go out there and giving me inspirational messages. And for me, she's
Oh,
just an icon. She would be
yeah.
the number one person.
Amazing. Who knows? That's to sing with her and to sound like her, like in some way, and to have that sort of influence throughout your entire life, and someone to show you that it's okay to be yourself in public and that you're not going to get crucified as much as any of us get crucified. That's amazing. And thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? You've shared so much, and I really appreciate your openness to talk about all the different things you've done and the hard stuff as well as the great stuff. It's really refreshing to get that really honest perspective from the insider world of someone else's artist journey. What else would you like people to share? I'm going to put all of your links for socials and your music and get everyone to go and follow you and check it out and keep an eye out for Short Story when it comes out.
Awesome.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah. First, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. You've been so
No, thank
lovely.
you.
And yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation. And I
Me
really
too.
appreciate you putting songwriters on in the spotlight. Oftentimes they're behind the scenes. And
Selfish.
so,
I can't, I'm so passionate about it. I can't get enough. I could talk about
yeah.
songwriting forever.
Yeah, no, it's a super highly interesting topic that I wish more people got into because
Mm,
I talk about it a lot with my friends who don't understand the world of publishing or songwriting. And I give,
yeah.
examples like, okay, I Will Always Love You. That's Dolly Parton. She wrote it, but Whitney Houston performed it. But every time
Yeah.
someone does a cover of I Will Always Love You, Dolly gets paid. She had the
Yeah.
publishing. I try to like, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, not to geek out about that. But what I wanted
No, but
to,
it
I
is
guess,
fascinating, isn't it?
yeah, that's the most simple example I can give to someone who's kind of new to the world or trying to understand what it's all about.
Yeah.
I think that anyone can be a songwriter. I call my songs like diary entries. If you
Yeah.
have something that's just on your heart or on your mind, whether they're good or bad, it's so much nicer to get it out. It's a
Mm,
release and it doesn't have to go anywhere. It can stay with you. It can be shared with your friends or family. It can be, hey, you happen to have a talent for this and hey, record it in the studio. And maybe it goes viral or maybe it doesn't. It doesn't matter. But
yeah.
if you have something that it's like almost screaming inside of you, it means it wants to get out.
Yeah.
And a really healthy way to do it is through creativity.
Yeah.
And some people have different mediums like painting or Maybe they're amazing at sports, but that's one way of getting something out of you that needs to come out. So I don't know if there's anyone out there that's thinking about it, just start writing and see what flows. And it sounds so silly, but Melissa Etheridge is a huge advocate for rhyming dictionaries. So that's something that
Yeah,
if you get stuck on a phrase, like what
always.
rhymes with up? It sounds silly, but it just gives you ideas and maybe words you hadn't thought of before. And try to write in a way that's personal to you, but also can speak to other people
Yeah.
if you want to get your message across. So if you want to be
Yeah.
universal, write in a way that's poetic. It doesn't
Mm.
have to be so literal, and you can still say a lot in just a few amount of words.
Yeah, you can show it, don't tell it. What was it? Yeah, show it, don't tell. I think that's really beautiful, and I completely agree with you that art, first and foremost, is a therapy, and it's a way of us expressing ourselves in a different form of communication. Because yeah, we can communicate blah blah blah. Like I get tongue tied all the time, and yet I feel like I can be free when I'm writing a song. And I don't think when you think commercially or universally, you don't have to be the number one Billboard's pop star Grammy award winning artist to have a career. You can have your people, but it's about finding those people. And that can be a bit of a challenge, as we've both experienced, but you can still have a massive career and do what you love without having to be a household name type thing. I think it's good for people to know that it doesn't have to be a side gig, which, you've obviously experienced, but yeah. Would you give it some advice
Yeah.
around the don't quit your day job aspect? And
I would say don't quit your
oh,
day job.
sorry, we're
What?
gonna get cut off.
Ah,
Sorry, I've run out of
2 minute
time. I just
warning.
realized. Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
go. Thank you
You
so
want to do just
much.
closing remarks and
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Thank you so much for jumping on, and I will let everyone go and check you out and listen to music. And congratulations on the new album coming out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. In June or
Thank you.
July will be the first release, a single off of the new album. The album's coming out October 13th.
Yes, perfect. All right, so I will edit that.